Greenhill. Advantage towards innovation. We're on the brink of an AMR crisis. It kills millions here, and COVID puts us on the brink. Western 23. ABR puts except for that bacteria resistant newly every antibiotics fight. ABR, the world is quickly going out of drugs. Top 5 million a year expected to go. We are in the midst of a crisis of pandemic, push healthcare. The brink completely to an increase in AB use and a significant increase in resistant infection, death increase 50%. A host of factors at the post-COVID break for the emergence of AMR diseases. They'll mutate out of existing countermeasures and drive quick extinction. Only pharma innovation solves. Status 23. Rise of superbugs is here to death tolls. Millions of superbugs threaten to collapse humanity. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be possible. Germs develop the threat ability to threat drugs down to kill them. Hundreds of millions of deaths. He's optimistic. Bacteria is mutating far faster than forecast. Spreading like wildlife bacteria in Ukraine are showing antibiotic resistance, unbeatable germs like beyond. What is going to be fourth nitric acid company that's feverishly working to develop new antibiotics, but it isn't happening. There's been little innovation past. New antibiotic class developed in the early 2000s. ABR short circuit defense about historical pandemics. They don't assume new risks, which are becoming exponentially more likely. Extinction. Arthur 18. Human study existence include disease caused most likely disease caused microbes have appalling consequences of threat to the survival of humans. Earth's decrease in short life cycle resulting in evolutionary changes. Antibiotics will evolve very rapidly, living the age of superbugs. The one antibiotic class of superbug bacteria will constitute essential to avoid this increase. Research drugs may be less adequate in the future. Viruses evolve versus the age and the biomedical research funding as a startup doesn't guarantee success. Main factors, researchers, consensus of experts agree with the risk. Revitalizing innovation is key. Talking to 20 AMR is essential this century, leading health and security experts sounding alarmed about the commissions led by renowned economists. UN and CDC have come to the same conclusion. AMR is a certain danger. Preparedness does not match magnitude. Urgent need for incentives to fix the antibiotic market. Incentives are needed to revitalize inadequate antibiotic pipeline. Without them, innovation will continue to stagnate. Policymakers should the US is not caught in a flat-footed when inevitable superbug outbreak. His low quality and counterfeit pharmaceuticals make AMR spread globally. They increase microbial contagiousness. Ineffective drugs increase incubation periods, preventing burnout. Causes 15. Multi-drug resistant bacteria may reverse travel, promote risk, spread worldwide therapeutic failure, prolong skin conditions, increase prevalence of infection, prolong levels into lose competence to promote use of most extensive antibiotics, patients not able to afford, patients remain infectious and pose risk for global health. Preceding shocks cause spiraling political reaction that culminate in existential war. Independently first shoot ups and protections of populism and prologues to 21 pandemics to the need for wars weakening societies and deaths, civil conflicts, pandemics with the unprecedented speed of increased mobility, crisis made a part of aggressive action that stabilizes precarious systems out of by conventional nuclear weapons as well as weapons, chemical, biological, tech pandemics to stabilize a nuclear conflict in capturing incapacitating commanders who issue strike orders, creating uncertainty and opening an opportunity for a strike of state. These pandemics cover military complication borders, same shot of trade push, shut down, a bunch of blown out for foreign policy become nationalistic proliferate nuclear weapons, resistant bacteria destroys microbiome extinction by 21 antibiotic resistant bacteria integrated as normal members. Microbia influencing disease disorders and immunity release increases more mobile genetic elements. Antibiotics serve critical aspects of life, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfate reduction, infection, mitochondrial risk, biogeochemical cycles on Earth, systems apocalypse for human life passes, antibiotic use and produce long-term risks to the healthy Earth. Plan solves targeted Medicare benefits, shifts pharma priorities, source clinically valuable drugs without hurting profits. Counting 16, federal card negotiate prices of drugs to save $50 billion annually from downward pressure on prices. Savings would pass on to payers and patients. Critics argue the policy leads to innovation. U.S. investment powers innovation worldwide, and the proposal of a chance for price negotiating the government for all. Precision jobs, reducing pressure, increased demand for allowing pharma to recover demand. This policy reinforce pharma incentives to innovate. And policy would change willingness to participants to pay for just very high price tags, limited clinical value prices lowered in some classes and raised in others with significant values. Policy just more hazard. Current financing throws good money after the drugs will be limited. Effectiveness, current impact in innovation, minimal coordinated pricing, promoting sustained competition like pharma recipes in some areas. Full investment leading targeted drug recovery. Pharma would face incentives to reduce inefficiency, redundancy arrangements would evolve to prioritize valuable drug development. Status quo pharma innovation fails. Price regulation solves. Study slow after manual 21. America's global leader in R&D pharma. More control of prices and innovation. Americans cannot afford drugs reduce the research high. Prices substantial burden on Americans. We don't have to choose between price and innovation. Congress and Medicare negotiating power resets. So we would still have a road to innovation regulation. Only prevent 1% of all new drugs. You still get 95% of new drugs. Not every drug's innovative. Start drugs categorize innovative 20% really. Innovative, not just copying previous drugs. Other issues at these same prices. High justified innovation profits more than pay research in the entire world. They can afford those profits and maintain current R&D. Higher reimbursement rates via government insurers are critical to pharma innovation. Radically 22 drug quality focus on the U.S. Pharma White House report started improving the most important driver of high quality medications, more profitability, increase financial incentives for drug quality or inadequate regulations limited to rectify challenge of already manufactured. Higher revenue can be productive policy makers program Medicare and pay higher reimbursement rates, high quality ratings, low reimbursement for manufacturers fail to meet quality demands, additional investment to avoid higher costs for like check rather than enforceable agreement that aims to guarantee medication remain highest quality, most successful. Specifically, Medicare pricing spills over. Effects outside the program are identical. Yen 15 by influencing bargaining power of insurers, subsidization progress beyond ability population to deliver Medicare, affecting drug prices on non-Medicare, market external savings approximated to the internal resources that the external effect is not theoretical. Program lowered overall prices for non-enrollees. We estimate market-wide savings nearly as large as internal savings for enrollees. The plan's targeted approach solves best differential pricing scheme, increasing private sector incentives to find novel drugs that remedy deadly diseases. Counting 15, new cures require new pricing policy to foster investments in novel drugs, producing development drugs without modest benefit to new drugs. Value 3 times potentially option and tangible value, potentially value low-term direct benefits. Option values that value created when a drug development creates new possibilities. Innovation, novel drugs may accumulate a path failure, future innovations. Payment system based on these elements that align innovation, reward by more flexibility, drinking, emergency loses system basically great potential to accelerate availability, novel drugs that will improve outcomes. Putting procedure jobs in the B without cost sharing, ensures administrative ease and prevents disease spread. Crossing 22 years after Part D, Congress should improve and simplify Medicare coverage, move coverage to Part B without requiring cost sharing, and improve financial barriers, reducing the spread of preventable disease, consolidation under one of Medicare, avoid confusion, Part B, reimbursement policy changes. Congress would overhaul Part B payments to current system, avoid the incentives managed. The overall cost of drugs to be more equitable. Part B reimburses the Medicare restraint executive prices for Part B drugs. A drug can provide clarity and consistency. Therefore, the United States government should expand Social Security by increasing public pharmaceutical insurance for drugs with substantial public health value. Medicare advantage to terrorism. Drug prices are rising, decimating coverage. 22 drug costs have been rising and impact on public and health insurance. Significant cost of drugs like faster than any other component. Employers finding it difficult to provide affordable coverage are passing costs to employees, making it difficult for employees to access medication. U.S. does not negotiate prices are set by manufacturers. High prices force patients into buying counterfeits. Price 23. All private types of medication counterfeited into entities producing counterfeits prey on patient need for medication that are effective. Everything is open game as long as they can make profits. Contributing to the aggressive e-commerce counterfeiters target patients. Hoping to pay less than nice you operating illegally. Pfizer worked with law enforcement to close websites. Made 3 the close one more shots of legal punishment up. Top 5 pharma prices drive patients towards counterfeit medication. People who fall for counterfeits absolutely need medicine way beyond ability to pay. Need to control prices of people who can afford medicine do not have to go through to a counterfeit. Counterfeit pharma provides slush funds to global terrorist organizations. Drugs are approximately a source of financing. Difference 14. Counterterrorism financing is the primary connection money needed. Thanks to good attachments go to undetected, highly effective terrorists keeping their funding a confidential, untraceable, illegal partnership necessary for terrorists. Allow terrorists to diversify counterfeit pharmaceuticals grade source of financial sources. $75 billion large financial pool attracting illegal group sales. Mirror sales trend legally to deposit return off of the largest sum. Criminal groups acquisition of counterfeit pharmaceuticals. Organized criminal mafia, Chechen triad cartels take up relationship can be found in the counterfeit pharmaceutical profits. Foreign terrorist groups scale of counterfeit pharmaceuticals being made in the United States. Counterfeiting is likely and underpins organized crime. Unit 12. Counterfeiting is a complicated network where criminals undertake line blasting activities, make profits and not get economic benefit. Organization where profitability counterfeiting medicines wide range of means that use medicine counterfeiters compatible with other criminal activities. Counterfeiting finances other organized crime. Organized criminal groups endeavoring to find new ways to exploit new tech counterfeiting medicines to become highly profitable. Wide transnational organization groups such as macro to counterfeit drug trade due to high profits and low risk. Counterfeiting inferior to organized criminal behavior. Groups due to receive more funds, which can then be invested into other illegal activities. U.S. is key to global counterfeiting and no all kinds of terrorist financing. Finlay 11. Counterfeiters are increasingly to global terrorism. Look at the counterfeiting need. Feed larger and more cities, terrorist cities, and cities around the world. Terrorists may use drugs and its funds derived from counterfeiting to support extremist violent activities around the globe. Focus on counterfeit drugs as a result of successful international efforts to cut off traditional sources of revenue to terrorists. Or limiting financing prevents nuclear terrorism, which otherwise causes extinction. Haze 18. Nuclear terrorism may lead to inadvertent nuclear warning systems are tripped, leading to launch on warnings. Strategic miscalculated terrorism could precipitate a chain of events leading to massive exchange of Nazi actors engaged in terrorist activity. Some argue that funding humanity exceeds the capacity active even at the highest levels of capabilities and numbers of actors and motivation possible capacity to become nuclear. I can identify 5 already conducted such engineering projects with the skill, financial and material requirements for the high bar. There's suddenly reachable, passing out, prologue motivated groups these already including calculated religious and political and social entities, psycho-pathological masculine cults, nuclear CNC systems play an independent role in the nuclear war. At least 5 nuclear punch axis of prone conflict, US, DPRK conflict, China, Taiwan, China, Japan, China, Russia, US conflict, tech-enabled terrorism, guaranteed extinction, source 1. Afghanistan through wars, Al-Qaeda can make a comeback, emerging tech and biotech, and AI put into power in the hands of terrorists, ISIS, Venezuela, weapons, power playing acceptably dual use seconds. One reason the other is legislature copies human extinction is higher than ever before. Resolving the demand side of counterfeiting is critical. Supply side policies fall flat. Market 22. Awareness of consequences of drug is lacking. Complex nature, global pharma supply chains, and sophistication of counterfeit packaging makes equal to 2. Regulating secret material crime like all counterfeit goods. Price is a critical driver. Possession, tall order for laws to exceed when there's an appetite for counterfeit goods. Consumers are receptive to low cost counterfeit alternatives not addressing demand side. Market not addressing demand side.
Okay, are you good?
Yeah.
How does the plan cut off all terrorist financing?
Well, we've read evidence that says that slush funds from counterfeit drugs are the key internal link to terrorist financing. We think like terrorist
explain that internal link.
Yeah, terrorists get a lot of money from counterfeiting. They sell counterfeit drugs. They use that money for terrorist activities.
Okay, the Dupress evidence. Why is drugs the primary source of terrorist financing?
I mean, I don't know why, but it just is.
Okay.
Well, our evidence says that the UN has cracked down on other forms of terrorist financing except for drug counterfeiting, which they have now used to support most of their activities.
Okay, how do targeted Medicare benefits towards drugs like not hurt profits? It's your plan solves piece of evidence. They continue well.
Yeah, so we think that in the status quo, a lot of pharma companies are not innovating and they're just relying on Me Too drugs, which are not actual new drugs. They just use existing drugs and like make tiny amounts.
Sure, but if they're using existing drugs,
the plan would incentivize companies to start innovating with real drugs, clinically valuable drugs, by increasing insurance, by increasing reimbursements for people age 65 and over when they're buying the drugs that are actually effective. So like if I own a company that has a drug that's like, I price it as like $230, and then you own a company that's like $180, but my drug is not innovative, then the Medicare will not reimburse people who are buying my drug, so which means they'll buy your drug.
No, I understand that shift towards clinically valuable drugs, but how does that at the same time not hurt any profits for the previous?
Yeah, our evidence says that the status quo, well, a few things. First, we don't think that they need all the profits they currently have. They can maintain existing levels of R&D. Two, we think with the plan would increase profits because it would stimulate demand in the economy because people cannot pay for drugs in the status quo because the prices are so high. The third thing is that profit does not matter right now because R&D right now is so low and so ineffective because people rely on Me Too drugs that it's like irrelevant whether or not the profit does anything, whether or not there is profit.
Sure. Advantage one, why do low quality pharmaceuticals right now make AMR spread?
Yeah, so it's kind of like if we're using drugs that are not actually effective in killing like the diseases, then those diseases will become more resistant to them because it'll just be like a tiny dose of the drug, so they will not actually kill the disease entirely, but the disease will learn how to react to those drugs. So we need drugs that are actually fully effective in killing the disease, so they cannot develop and like mutate, evolve to like resist those.
Wait, can you explain this again about why high rates are critical to more innovation? I know you did it earlier.
High rates.
Well, your Mattingly evidence says that high reimbursement rates are critical to innovation.
Yeah, the Mattingly evidence says that like Medicare specifically is the largest provider of insurance in the United States. So where they like reimburse, where their like insurance is provided, that will drive like the private sector. That's like a Medicare key in terms of like the Mattingly evidence. Okay. It's not like the Conti evidence, which describes how we stimulate actual real innovation in the pharma economy.
Okay, we're gonna take a break. Did you? Okay. 8:37.
Seven off. Advantage one. Advantage two.
Yeah.
You're good.
I'm pulling it up still.
First, obviously, tax fiscal redistribution requires both taxing and spending. Case 86, fiscal redistribution word between money by to government spending and taxing for stabilizers made levels of forgets about 5 fiscal redistribution violation. They don't tax vote negative versus limits hundreds of possible funding by things each with massive advantage. Ground second is ground tall tax and delete links and flip court. This sounds like Irish trade off. Now new apps are bad versus pregnancy app. They're structurally ahead because they know what their app is going to be in wheat. And second is clash 8 minutes of prep means to resort to bad generics and can't make each substance of that, which is what the debate is about. Next off, econ is that inflation is going with the future rate hikes is uncertain to like 90%. I need to think about it to wait for inflation beginning with blood. I don't think they're confident inflation is slowing moving offshore when the economy federal nature leave the rich long-term body total inflation could be without low the economy is retained. And the plan fuels inflation and triggers further interest rate hikes that decimates the economy. Adrian, you guys are trying to inflation on fiscal reason not want to avoid record demand fiscal low inflation monetary months active fiscal even the high inflation amount of good for several banks the same with every concept of the rates the financial system in the 1980s today is relevant to fiscal reach to reduce retail will also reduce risk globally disability unlimited and first motives are converting a market economy reduce the risk of sovereign debt versus fiscal reduce the cost of inflation market for timely cover the alternative monetary policy loan act and economic decline causes nuclear war global existential accidents. Well, 21. A second version will have been unleashed will lose enabled in one area. This mobile economic into U.S. and China possibly can download over the conflict of those actions and the Pacific searching environment culture the world into domestic history repeats its balloon investment community around more U.S. China competition to and SES with Korean political and nuclear war competition with Russia. Next off is the states counterplan the 50 states in all relevant territories should expand social security by increasing public pharmaceutical insurance for drugs with substantial public health value Medicare. Next off is the United States federal government should appoint Patrick McHenry as the Speaker of the House. Next off is the politics is that Ukraine aid passes now, but it's close to PC is key to live 1013. Since invasion of Ukraine about a series of policy to Eastern Europe region into the majority voting Congress police on rules of politics of youth colleagues connecting Ukraine to South Syria fighting China including Israel fighting in front of Ukraine fighting promise to take urgent action in the time of the human crisis together how to support for the government of the medical representing from the Ukraine White House because of how the compromise is the public culture of the economy and the JG requires massive PC which solves return to like lower 18 funding pay benefits inflation to urgent care work compensated Democrat work state off the political competency with what do you give on implementing a direct people taking the answer without political content of proposals of people there's a not to compromise and funding for Ukraine prevents U.S.-Russia war. U-1012 immediate season of right now school UN of all the anti-Sovereign reserves to the Russia future Russia members effective we're going to difference in territory eventually leading to targeting what illegal use direct use from China or Singapore will increase the volatility of our funding hours as we gain that's the fundamental deeply the gap of funding color into the model of the Russian government as well to over the center of China calling this is support risk molding counter for emission into one and NATO Russia war is the only extinction scenario economy rat 17 and nuclear program in the US and China after this case is something that to call the goal of the multi-active to run nuclear which I think for that one we and also going to the 60 would be great is only possible 9% of what the usual over look at the leading executive it was going to over the US and Russia next off is the second KWF's expansion of the labor force under the arms of the state only serves to repress necessary revolution and legitimize domestic condemning Brick cannot introduce people representing that's accepted that place these are the work of the state authority by holding away with the troubles even the place of the family the user the problem and realize especially political economy actually seeks control of the debate these seemingly joke with the regional executive repeating political geography and settler invasion is not an event but a political ontology elimination that manifests itself in everyday iteration and modes of being spatial inhabitants Brick 14 is attempted to set local witness to go attention on the face of which is modes of being tracking operations settlement innovations individuals who the project and limited dress but also eliminating ongoing for this native continue to structure society the structure of the to the ontological strong white system I think it is the ontological concept colonial examples that vote negative for an unflinching rejection of colonial grammars that begins with the constant interrogation of settler epistemologies in debate how to limit commitment to the hero and sometimes we're taking to do the rules to allow to escape your bargaining something or refusal because the people don't know the ability of anything which comes to the will of the people according to constitutional sovereignty. Next up is the state courts counterplan. The United States federal judiciary ought to hold the constitutional guarantees compel enforcement of expanded social security by increasing public pharmaceutical and insurance for drugs with substantial public health value and Medicare. Compelling enforcement solves and spills over to narrow the PQD. Call 14. Courts have dismantled the executive to political campaigns will emphasize their political the concept of best power that president court of use to see the compelled that they take enforcement. PQD involves norm development for drug warfare habits 15. The court dismantled this material the government came in and we have on PQD. First of this announcement for political is followed the warfare to complete the reason what the health including individual how by drugs and cards and check on ACT. Power challenges drugs that happen. Political question and extinction boil 13. Countries that have you take on the authors on stability will be yourself for example to the look out that is not drugs a revolution between nuclear power there's conflict acts that will lead to confrontation over world pushing this is the fact that the drug China versus Russia by usually they understand the level of international standards and ensure the use our regular use of opportunity leadership. Advantage 1. Social Security fair studies prove that no progressive redistribution routed all 9. If Social Security is the ability to win a value of household Social Security has no impact on the quality of the profit determining many local household and this analysis ignore behavior response to the analysis financial and support insurance and increased funding for Social Security doesn't solve the real issue of resources. It ends up increasing inflation turns the links to econ near term and all that 13 when you think about time and it's the terms of the resources where we can afford to the economy of sustainable and when the value added time will solve the financial terms of all sustainable type thing hiring committee will alter the concept will not be more output and no disease impact housing 19. Pathogen non-electric causing extinction of the Olympics are the best of the outbreaks of culture the only reason of extinction native to Christians are interconnected increase immunity even increasing exposure to local violence strains and vendors and medicine and China to limit of terror and disease can cause extinction. For 17, the pandemics are very likely to cause extinction and lower recording extinction as the borders are surrounded to see not global to with all the fragment continue are species very good school but to capable of responding to like to kill but highly the close with the people to no cellular depression not really to how to kill all brother the all host and no impact to ABR. Worst case scenario is 1% of the population cost 17 are we on the other device where we go through looking that you have those only one because you do not get away with it I'm not going to avoid CBR tests are highly effective percent over the entire setting of the innovative I'll put the wrong word he may practice it won't be wide but even with the worst resistant or anti-venom resistant, we don't 1% of the planet. There's a lot of funding into resistance. Advantage 2. Successful nuclear weaponization won't happen. Even if it does, it fails due to strong deterrence. Mercado 22. The ability to achieve nuclear capacity is the capability of the life of the nuclear. You will not be better likely than all them. And everyone attack the multiple is a hybrid capability of maintaining function and mind being obtaining mind against people ability to finance in order to have contact and ability to the other and anything or by personal information of the continuing ability and it's completely benign. Terrorism only goal is the actions which will not only fail but cause groups to fade out. Pick your team. With terror, the goal is a little more about public and also when we kill somebody with honest and belong to military groups that seem to college and sort of government into extreme risk when we don't know how we attack actions the opposite of military action with terror. It's coupled not better, but better quality will never get over the have service of hundreds of terrorism so they all easily fit away with help. It's taking their goals terrorism and bodily aligned terrorists that are out their violence fail to achieve their goals and how much violence would marks the center such and will hurt ISIS and thumped Finley. Their impact evidences from 2011. That obviously means that if they win a link, then it doesn't matter. All data proves crime is at an all-time low. Joe by crime shows and Trump. Easter Burger team. News is pitched. Distinguished center politicals are the opposite of the free within the virus. Colonel Quinton and Crime. President Kobe to begin in the 1990s declining and like the co-handles up down 49% of the R4 decline of Canada. 300% of all work delivery and Robert decline on 1 some decline who the traces improved. 12% of the shock of 40 people which all 40 guys around surveillance for that 70 friends of crime. Since 1990, Code U.S. National Border has a claim that continue every time. New counter plan. The United States federal government should decrease fiscal redistribution in the United States by exempting innovative activities from taxation, expand social security by accepting, increasing public pharmaceutical insurance and for drugs, substantial healthcare and Medicare. It competes, increase means on network, increase is 8, increase the means of increase easy, decrease the cost by other exempting innovative activities from taxation, catalyst, and innovation. Or 19, to accept Medicare deals, code and taxation, to powerful step to have innovative systematically reset the competence for the risk, virtually all countries with power tax under the U.S. and allies behind incentives for little risk, and penalty imposed to by take off instead of legal commerce through scale instead of overcome with the take off center and entry management power, turning innovation solves converging economic, environmental, social crisis, extinction. Yagalor 19. The world is confronted with environmental economic system with urbanizing, globalization, agriculture, consumption, technology, and dependency to reserve as a result of the 4 IR crisis, research, technology, and challenges, and there is an industrial planning, urban and development with that city. There is truly sustainable extinction. It's upon us building cities for more than a human future, like the last resort to avoiding future civilization is at the crossroads.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Do you want the countdown question?
Okay.
Sure.
I just
Okay. Once you say that.
sorry. I'm taking representative. Sorry.
You don't.
No, I accidentally closed the doc, so.
I don't think you have to take preface.
Okay,
It's
no.
fine. Just say it.
Okay, sorry. Okay. I just sent it.
Okay. Roughly. Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Inflation disad, the rate hikes cause collapse evidence is from 2022. It doesn't assume rate hikes that happened this year that took us back to the rates that existed in the early 80s. The internal link says rates that existed in the early 80s cause recession. What's the argument? Why haven't these rates caused it?
Uniqueness means
R-
that current inflation is stable.
The interest rates that exist right now are as high as the ones that your internal link evidence say would cause recession. So why have these rates not caused recession?
No, if we're gonna win, if we're winning uniqueness that it's stable, it doesn't. It just says that those rates itself have not we're winning a brink argument.
Well, but the brink. Okay, sure, that's fine. The set call K about expansion of the labor force. What is the link?
Oh, sure. It says maybe not labor force, but it says enacting state authority by enfolding groups within terminologies of the state.
So just like state doing things is the link.
Yep.
Okay. Status of the off.
Conditional.
Court counterplan. What evidence have you read that you think says that this court ruling involves the PQD?
Yeah, the Cole card, then the Habits card. The Cole card says that it would compel the executive to take enforcement. The Habits card says that,
Well, I mean, this court, the first card is just like a definition of the PQD. It's just talking about like what the PQD is.
No, okay.
And
It
second
says,
card-
it
and the
says
second
the
card-
ruling, if followed, would bar suit by plaintiffs raising claims where they had standings, and that is
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the
So
context
it's like
of the PQD.
what part of like talking about a general PQD ruling do you think is talking about Social Security? There have been court rulings on Social Security before. Why have they not overturned the PQD?
No, we think that uniquely the counter plan would hold that the constitutional guarantees.
Yeah, but like there have been like Supreme Court rulings over Social Security before. Why have those not been involved? Ones involving like Puerto Rico. Why have those not triggered the PQD or overturned it?
Puerto Rico, like they don't get SSI.
Because of court rulings, but that's fine. The PQD blocks norm development. Have you read reverse causal evidence that says that if we were to get rid of PQD, then those suits would be able to take down drone development? You have evidence that says like...
It just says, okay, the card says that courts, like, the drone strikes stuff has been dismissed. It says on the grounds of the political question doctrine.
Yeah.
If we're winning that, we take that down, then reverse causally, that would make sense.
Okay, that's fine. PC, like what PC do you think the plan trades off with? Like what ability of Biden do you think the plan detracts from?
Lowry evidence says that for like the trade-offs are both economic and political. It says that questions of inflation, pay benefits, insurance, compensation, it would increase administrative.
Yeah, that card's about the JG. I'm asking like what political strengths do you think Biden loses as a result of anything?
Well, he has to like, it's PC. He has to pass it.
Okay, 2 minutes to your sent. Okay, is everyone good for an order? Innovation advantage, terrorism advantage, T-taxes, new apps at the bottom, states, offsets, the court's counter plan, K, econ dissad, the uniqueness counter plan for politics, and adults. Correct. Got some more y'all gonna. Group 1 and 2, 1 and 2, they're not about this. Medicare part of Social Security, which means they're not responsible for it says that Medicare is sufficient to solve it, and it's sustainable, but only the plan can solve it by increasing benefits for people and rewarding valuable drug production. 1 is 3, yes, disease impact evidence is not from an expert, also doesn't assume AMR, but it's a unique disease threat because there's evidence about burnout, which isn't why, because AMR will mutate because of insufficient drug and low quality drugs. The Fargo evidence also not a disease, but also not about ABR, without the only ABR defense red is wrong. 1 is 5, it only says that the existing countermeasure solves that's wrong because the existing innovation fails, and it does not actually have any drugs that are effective in combating ABR, so none of it can solve it. And definitely conversation, that's the 1 EC, Arthur evidence, and the Snyder evidence, advantage 2. 1 and 2, 1 is wrong. Evidence does says that nuclear terror is easy to get. That's a Hayes evidence. He said they have existing motivation now. They demonstrate capabilities. They just need the financing. What is 1? Counterfeiting against the 1 and 2. They're not benign. Evidence says they're psychopolitical terrorist groups that will get weapons and use tech to kill the entire world. 1 and 2. The Finlay evidence is from 2011, but evidence says that high prices now are what is causing people to shift to counterfeiting, which means their rising profits now are steadily increasing. 1 and 2. 4, the crime at a low is not responsive to our terror because it's not about crime but about counterfeiting. T-taxes. We meet A is tax body clinics, the vacuum is most objective and preventive use of picks. B, Medicare Part B is funding the premiums and general revenue. SSA, no date, but Part B, when it comes to finance revenues and federal general revenue. Normal means that the plan limits premiums, cautionary for clinically valuable drugs and funds by the general revenue, which would involve the tax increases. No cross expression means that we're just specking here. FD, no date. Majority of federal comes individual and corporate income taxes and 23 the government collected the highest general revenue history. Their term is 7 cents about a chart of 18. The programs that be period of tax budget appropriate head of tax collection reflex after spending. C, every transfer is also negative tax rate is FD. Negative and connects the next practice tax society negative after you can't tax returns drop as also taxes name negative shares negative tax same as well as transition with the NHA over the bright side individual poverty and guaranteed income for new apps are good incentivize proud critical thing and organization is a generic solve all their obviously not just by antics default reasonability states counterpoint.
First, permanent vote shields and the benefit has Biden shifted blame the credit on shift the blame to states to the Canada's legal Medicare Part D precludes state price negotiation. They fiat through the Canada pharmaceutical industry will guarantee federal blockage beginning 14. Medicare Part D many state runs PBMs looking order. Goodness influence Congress influence national solution to that state. Run PBMs from Medicare Part D come to run a state stop state programs and few reduced profits part of terminate state. PBS Part D prohibit any state to manufacture progress endorsed by the pharmaceutical firms. The Canada leaves out the largest personal drugs economist 15. Medicare is the largest company's largest drug company. It does not allow the English price for drug companies to whatever the principal laws 3 year. Either the Canada does not get waivers, it doesn't solve it, and it doesn't. It links that before uniform 50 CBO to voter for fiating out remain deficit source loaded to direct strategy not simple. And the logic was no single decision maker could choose direct achieve anything else. So the no cost option 5 of the rating solvency having new answers offsets. First, permanent vote does apply twice, which solves the internal is not served to the permanent plan exhibit activities per text inserted. Economics must be textually and functionally competitive, key to maximize rate comparison, background, and objectivity. 3, permanent count of increase. Immediately requires cause of goals 2, 1. Grammar cause of relation, but object falls over the words transit definition, transit increase become greater definition is transit is because they become greater. And attitude 4 cannot solve the kind of a truly reduce inequality like low people's income, which means they buy kind of drugs and triggers a second advantage. 5, expansion qualifying companies replace for aggressivity of the tax credit given now 22. SMEs partake in non-qualifying RD for tax credits. I cannot claim our credit research not avoids available to current bears as means sellers and taking the risk of financial credit claims and enhance RD tax credit running and definition from a larger portion of cost for SMEs larger than larger company creating price tax credit paid running category greater proportion of small companies large increasing capital more benefit 6 no innovation in back code 20. Health and urban charity data innovation including and landfills of mining and landfines are the cherry making sport a break into innovation always good to understand innovation direction of a good about effects of those are not only industry choices are complex and then with the selection with the weeds of animation not like a nation balls fingers and innovation and direction and take it we're going to then more is about understanding the outside form policy advantage. 1 is an impact turn innovation because innovation causes AMR. PQD. First, permanently accountable. The accountable is neither textually nor functionally competitive. Its constitution requires physical redistribution via jobs via the plan. 2, perm looks like a court order Medicare expansion. 3, the right about politics. Congress not fully implement the plan. 4, perm the applicant and other issues text below. Accountable see textually functionally competitive mark across by the from B without PQD. The other 2 get tossed out because they lack standing. Rows 11. Instrumental barriers to lawsuit standing compelling for drones and cars and particulars and parties who offers a different lack standing of identified who is a target those arrested able to challenge federal policy believe in something themselves and lawsuit will be dismissed targets are classified a member will be able to reject the beyond and the conjecture PQD is good A is China or couple 9 who is talking about time perhaps he is Japan and started so the establishment of the Euro war news became occupying in San Diego Francisco not otherwise specified so Taiwan agreed to later not US national court against United opinion stating a plan this might be correct but the beginning around the circuit from proceeding this affirmation very likely to war with Taiwan. Second. First framework, way the applicants links to the plans. Fiat implications or termination moves the applicant turns defense into office fairness. They the only package for classmate and eliminates educational benefits. 2, perm the bill all overwhelms links or cannot solve. 3, extinction outweighs abilities. Dynasty irreversible precludes any alternative within life, including the 4 no link to other evidence is about the plan just as it is bad. 5, protect the state and emphasizing structure. The pessimism trap that stifles and it is agency and activist life. 20. The state is unchanging desire to dismiss land the limits agency over reality. Organizations have a track have a record of attempting state positions. Pessimism trap inhibited indigenous that could rematch relation oversight. Evidence assures the rating the state antecedent factors and service resist are describing and interview what a self-determination can mean in addition to political actors and condemning all people that see that the state is outside with them into movements working for negative and narcotics groundbreaking that given the key role indigenous people play negotiating agreement with states and our implementation on the central car political will and to dispense engagement with the states and division the current division amongst movements to be pulling race and working together. Condo is a voter and dispo solve 1 strangers maximize in-depth vision 2 fairness applicant all ideas ever imagined 3 contradiction best 2 is the answer 6 A all cannot solve A does not do the app B cannot spell dissolve any issue with the state 7 voting fixture voting in total I've also leveraged 1 is the offense and makes y'all the movie target econ. First recession now, but our 10 to 11 Trump bomb recently we have seen is rare and occurred 50 times the yield curves that have reduced lead to fall and lead to fall to peak within both the session yields longer bond rise more or less shorter bonds that cause the yield curve to be receiving and we're currently experiencing a usual commanding high magnitude and starting by yields up or reading high yield peak how to occur to yield trade at volatile range of program and how to be our stable how to opportunity the last rate with inflation use CPI climate magnitude but how to suggest that is more like it's more and more common recession like in terms of rising of rates. The plan is an economic blessing a low price holistic boom for the economy even assuming profit declines 11.7. Increased volumes of sales from lower price mitigate, reduced margins and boost those profits outsetting against a group for savings and individual person who drugs high across the major drug affordability, savings and more affordable drugs, and provide additional and assuming zero outcome and lost profits and represent gain for all the settings to lower drawings and lead to product with worth little evidence of lower price reduce already even residual decline is percent sales with a price that have dramatically increased back positive on a basis. Said B, AMR prevention stops if initial prices akin to 08 Johnson review. AMR lists exceed the revolutionary losses of effects of growing year to year models used by Volt to consider a further person on the economic and dimension Rob rolled on 2008, 2009 financial terms against estimate counter traffic and summation combined cost of economics analysis due to everything was against Cambridge. Now was one of the highest yield industries, and the inflation link is wrong. Thought by every other fiscal policy adopted by the government, the plan would not be a huge boost to spending, no collapse. Other countries will fill in the IMF effect and Melanie, US not keep the global economy volley. Element. American season world has been Japan, Bolstar, Asia, Latin America, not feel effects the same. Emerging on the world of American Island, low speed triple Asia, America's advice, larger, but more balanced in American season. Now, British the global Cold War after Malbach concludes the second great pension inevitable, the second in the inequality largest driver into the reality. Uniqueness kind of. Permanently both solves inevitable because uniqueness of realms is politics. A doesn't pass, Jordan Dukes and single, it's in 3D. But Jordan who will nomination lead the House vote against A to told reporters so he rejected further A if he gave speaker to majority Republicans back to Jordan, the next speaker to a good of a question system or reverse or the House for Ukraine for Germany very poor rating. Force pass votes against Ukraine and Germany. Joe Biden is announced before the additional elected. Biden is distracted, won't push any no us tonight. Biden House had to handle world on Ukraine trying to do the embassy on Ukraine. Biden hadn't really made the case for to the American people. Mark the card people PC fails unless Biden is popular. MS21 higher vote is more PC, the higher the vote is more PC, has world economist Biden. Jones said his news 20 higher his approval to be watching the quiver skate to house PC on approval is not a lobby aspiration. The plan is support for Biden. Dental 19 winning Medicare volatility negotiate John Biden by Barbara Sanders, Joe Public Lord, and 90% agreeing with the approach.
I'm good.
Which part of the card did you cut off at?
Which card?
Ukraine.
People. Case of the American people.
Case of which card?
Oh, no, was to 9 under PC not key.
Okay. The condo, sorry, is that the only reason to reject the team and fully pay?
50 safety, yeah.
50 safety, okay.
Yeah.
The Ukraine aid just had the Sankari card that says that Jordan voted against aid. Why would this matter if McHenry was speaker?
Well, we think that, first, Burnderbilt solves the McHenry issue, but we also think that McHenry would probably lose his powers after the Counterfeit fiat, and then that Jordan would be the next speaker.
What part of the evidence says that he would lose power?
McHenry? I mean, this evidence doesn't say that, but we can read evidence in the wire.
Oh, okay. The PQD is good. Can you explain the China War stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, the card says that there have been cases that have been brought to the court that are asking for Taiwan to be subsumed as a U.S. territory or U.S. state. Those cases have been dismissed on political question grounds. The card says that if those cases were not to be dismissed, the court would likely find that Taiwan is under U.S. jurisdiction.
That makes sense.
That
the
would
T taxes, the SSA, can you explain what funding through premiums and general revenue is?
Yeah, so the way that Part B Medicare is currently financed is through premiums and general revenue. Premiums are just like monthly amounts that people who get Medicare have to pay. A lot of people don't have to pay. They don't have to pay any premiums because they paid it when they were working before they were 65. The other way it's financed is through general revenue, which is descriptive of things like corporate income taxes, personal income taxes, just like the general revenue the federal government collects.
Okay.
The plan would eliminate premiums so that it would reduce the cost that people over 65 have to pay for Medicare, and then it would increase what we get from general revenue, so that would increase the taxes under that.
The state's counterplan, the McCann card is about Medicare Part D. I'm confused because you read a T interpret Medicare Part D.
Yeah, okay, so the plan would shift Part D to Part B. Part D is currently just like a few drugs and it's run by private insurers, but the plan would shift all those drugs that are insured under Part D to Part B. So like the McCain evidence still applies because it is about prescription, it's about the price negotiation, which is like what the 1AC's reimbursement policy would do. Like the Medicare and like the SSA broadly would still step in and preempt any state efforts to like shift Part D to Part B.
Okay, that's fine. The econ just had can you explain why lowering prices creates a boon for the economy?
Yeah. Okay.
Or why that has to do with inflation?
He could be said.
We said. 351. Or, is that right? Yeah. I'm saying. Set. The order is going to be econ to SAD. States counterplan. The offsets counterplan. Advantage 1, advantage 2.
Econ, state, offset, 1, 2.
Yeah. Is there a water fountain nearby or no? Yes. Can I go get some?
There's water right there.
Nice. Is everyone good? Economic decline outweighs number 1 is still both stress respect to every house by guaranteeing instant drawing. 2 is realignment. Nations turn inward to protect their own, cutting off all commitments that prevent war. The small but concerns case number 1 is disease and other Great Depression expands. Economic polarization making disease stoppage and prevention impossible. 2 is terrorism short-term decline terminates all protection, creates more vulnerable U.S. Now 2EC1 was uniqueness, it's down, and the Fed is moderating. Rate hike successfully, long-term body yields moved up, stocks climbed, and the economy has massive momentum. However, the Fed is still uncertain about inflation and the future rate hikes. That's small. Number 1 is optimism for soft landing is growing its Associated Press. 9 is 21. The Fed left is on rate unchanged aside this moderating and fight against inflation. Members conveyed optimism that they'll flow inflation without causing recession. Policymakers expect faster growth and think inflation will go. Officials feel that they're going to achieve disinflation without disruption in market, triggering recession. Fed is getting closer to the end of the cycle. Soft landing seems a primary objective. 2 is indicators. That's more. 9 is 28. The latest reading of inflation has been encouraging their still risk is not sustained. Inflation is primary concern, but cooling jobs market may be positive sign. Pressure is easing. The remaining will interest rate decision hanging in the balance. 3 is inflation is slowly cooling, but the future of rate hikes hangs in the balance. 10 is 12. Measure inflation barrier decline. Core prices climb 4.1%. The smallest increase. Prices provide a good signal. Inflation's path. The report was missed by. We've exited higher inflation regime, but we're still elevated. It is unlikely to change. The Fed outlook this is in line. What they're expecting for is getting lower and will avoid a recession, but it's lingering and spells trouble for households and assets. A smile like 10-12. Price trends were down and inflation solidifies as less than 2022 Fed have been raising rates in an effort to slow inflation. They're debating about when Fed relates its rate if needed. We have stepped out of higher inflation regime. There's still some sticky corners. Inflation can be hardest roll for household inflation. Most services, stocks, financial assets historically fared badly during inflation. Fed officials have been making clear that they plan to relieve rates, hoping that they'll gradually trickle the economy as resilient. The spending has remained solid. Businesses expand higher and stronger. Inflation could cool with our recession. 5 is everything is going well. It's tyranny. 10-12. Biden lauded Thursday's labor market report showing stable inflation. Core inflation fell to lower. Overall inflation down by 60%. Unemployment is remained below 4% of the Americans working for as high as now. The Bernard card is about yield curve, which is not the strongest predictor of recession. It's something, and sometimes it's inverted. Either way, it'll be entering recessions inevitable. The next card just says that inflation is higher than forecasted, not that it's increased in the past few months. Now, I'm going to do the link debate here. It was 2EC2. The link outweighs the link turn. It's predicated on only how the Fed reacts to the plan. Fiscal policy makes inflation higher and forces the Fed to slam on the brakes, raising risk for financial system, which spills over the trade union Gasper. Here's a few more warrants. Number 1 is expansion. Triggers mass inflation as gross. 22. Expansion does not account for unavoidable economic power factoring in all business owners. Ripple destructively across the economy, social security expansion, which cause large declines. Actuaries estimate upwards of $3 trillion could be lost. Insurance fiscal crisis, says Gressler. 23. A rising federal debt can increase the rate of fiscal crisis, even higher tax rate, inflationary policy by proposing the white hand up fees of social security expansion to boost social drastically or entrepreneurship. Current inflation is predictable. Thank you for these cards. Side is 11. 23. Inflation become predictable, fade in the background, yet the market is picking up so non inflation seal the surprise new race bank vaccine. Traders are happy that inflation sees delivering the shocks on predictable inflation, but worse surprise inflation market business is chaotic, keeping zero off balance. CPI would be shocking black to further action. It may shove to the foreground again. Only sharp structure of the economy. Expected inflation is priced in. That's honor. 19. Stable, predictable inflation is easier to capture. Price adjustment, rates reduction. Short-term impact showing that prices will be higher in the future. Good consumer incentives that bring to purchase sooner. Sharply increase price rates. Made expectation play key role in making people or firms anticipate higher prices, ability to expectation wage and price adjustments. Price setting compensate producers. Bankers are relying on their ability to influence expectations. And the Medicare destroys the economy. The cost overruns and tax hikes at center. 17. The system will destroy the American economy. Medicare is running $50 trillion. The red advocates will ignore the exorbitant taxes that must be levied to fund their schemes. Proposals would crush the entire economy. economy, lowering wages, destroying jobs, and throwing millions into poverty. The tax foundation estimated that they would reduce GDP by 9.5%. Tax increases to Medicaid would crush recipients who currently pay nothing, and the middle class perceives it as a huge economic hit. That star 16. Even if we accept lowball estimates, the plan would require staggering increases in taxes, new payrolls of 6% and income of 2%. The post-tax income of Medicaid beneficiaries who receive coverage would be 8%. The tax rates would rise to 38%. A hard sell. Subjectively, even if winners see themselves as losers, they don't feel the employers' insurers payments for their money to begin with. Their card isn't even about inflation, but it proves the link. They say that it would lead to the overstimulation of the economy because their card says things like, quote, lower drug prices would lead to a productive workforce and it would be a positive. On that basis, next card again, it's not about inflation, it's not thumped. We've said that the next sharp shock would erode the economy due to rate hikes, which is above. Now, rate hikes independently destroy multiple facets of the economy, which proves that the U.S. is key. Number one, it creates global confusion that destroys major economies. That's swing 22. Major economies with rate hikes, major economies are vulnerable to economic downturn. Countries need to hasten their hikes and risk recession or allow the dollar to strengthen instead of working in harmony to tame inflation. Banks are rushing to prop up their own currency to avoid soaring import costs. Aggressive rate hikes are filling the sense of confusion as bankers look to defend their currencies against the dollar. 2 is empiric rate hikes reveal crack against the economy this high. 23, when the Fed starts hiking rates, it goes until suddenly breaks. The Fed has raised interest rates high since 2006. Central bank has caught up the money that kept the economy turning. Has put the economy under stress. The last time rates were this high, what broke the entire economy. 3 causes debt crisis and fuels inflation that's high. 23, households, corporations, institutions, governments, and countries are in bad shape. The entities need to flow because of low interest rates and Fed. The risk of all debt crisis occur. You have to raise rates. Raising rates cannot make inflation worse. Companies could respond by raising prices and passing along the rate hikes to customers. That can lead to companies raising prices and cutting production, leading to stagflation. Now, the Mawak re-highlight is wrong. It's just saying that recession can happen now, which obviously your unique debate takes out, but recessions are not inevitable, which is the next more in this card. They're small scale and nowhere near the same economic effects of skyrocketing rates. All evidence points to seasonal recessions, not huge economic downturns. Frame every inevitable argument through time frame. If you want the plan, destroys the economy. Even a day factor to link out so that way, and winning uniqueness also takes us out. That was above. Few more reasons. Number one is resources, as Edelman. 21, employing extensive rate of data McAfee proves economic growth is no longer coupled to raw materials and 72 resources. Only states are not yet put Americans in condition of high risk capital per capita continue plateau now constant decline and such as production is only possible because of capitalism. Companies are constantly developing more efficient production methods and reducing raw materials that they consume. The future resources, one argument against growth, climate change is another. Latest generation nuclear power plants is much. And complete proof role in the fight against climate change. Capitalism tech are allowing us to steward the world's resources. 2 is financialization. This Bailey. 16, financialization is pulling the economies. I read no finance and insurance speak well, but for the financial crisis, employment has been a downtrend. Financial institutions are large at the core of value. Banks, information giving value, secure, fight liquid assets, but also funding investment, market investment. Also, recessions are now is not a specific answer to the inflation disad overall. Go to the state's counterplay. Concede the premise test competition. 50 safety as a reason to argument not to team offsets. Also concede the perm for offsets. The impact turn is relevant for winning defense to the first advantage. Second. Concede the perm, we're not going for it, but I'm going to answer conditionality here. We get what we did. Number 1 is next flex. The topic is massive. It includes healthcare, which is its own topic. Apps can be tax or transfer, skewing disads, and every app is built to link to decon is try or die. 2 is innovation. Fallback tracks encourage new arguments, turning research. 3 is info processing. Hard 1 is force. 2 is efficiency and best. Answers fostering critical thinking. Now the defense of 1 is diminishing utility, adding more F keys, peaks, and values until there's strategic liabilities. 2 is skews notable. Key disad speed. Highlighting framework case dispose add. Number 1 is definitional consensus. There is none. 2 is force firm. Process counterplans. World peace banks. 3 cancel flex. And 2 is dictates block. 4 is research inevitable. If the straight turns best argument, the 2 is you always go for returning disad solves. 5 condos, Bruce, creativity, after needle, haystack, want to see that beach generics, and wait to research rate turns. Go to advance 1. Social Security fails fee warrants. Number 1 is reverse causal. It has negative impacts on inequalities. Never effectively targeted. 2, it increases inflation. It also linked to the disad retirement system, and that was dropped. The retirement system is not sustainable and will never be solvent. That leads to inflation and creates negative output. The only thing they said was burnout. That's wrong, and it was answered above because there's other additional warrants that Raleigh did not answer that's bound and interesting. Now, there's no disease impact except for Farquhar 17. They dropped 2 warrants versus empirical record. Out of 833 species extinctions since 1500, only 4% were caused by disease, and they're all weak and localized. Plant or animal species. 2 is burnout. If the pathogen highly lethal kills the host before it has time to spread, that creates evolutionary pressure towards less lethal diseases. It also answers ABR. A few more reasons. Number 3 is number 1 is financial bias. It's Henderson. 6 is disease monitoring by the drug industry is promoting non-existent illnesses or judging minor ones for sake of profits according to the Library of Science Medicine disease awareness campaigns are funded by drug companies. 4 is resiliency. That's Sandberg. 14 natural pandemics are unlikely to be accidental. People resistant pathogen no upstream is survival speed more resistant evolution does not favor parasites that wipe out the host. Next is island nations as Palmer. 19 New Zealand to save humanity from extinction and invented pandemic. 20 island nations counter lipo. Island nations have the characteristics pursuit and technological cars self-sufficient island carbon isolate population and repopulate their earth. Now there's no ABR impact extend 1 T5. We're not even close to being on the edge of death from antibiotic resistance, measure shack, and can control it. Humankind certainly will be wiped out. Advantage 2. Extend 1 and T2, terrorism is a mere publicity stunt in SAS code. There's no terminal impact. Number 1 is loners, militant groups are all tracked by governments, but attacks now are only small scale and contained. 2 is disorganization, movements collapse with anarchist sects. Promoted ISIS proves, Marxist and secessionist groups collapse. Countless attacks as Pinker, prioritize low probability, statistically insignificant as Pinker. 18, terrorist attacks on a revolution that we find in dangerous times. Americans aim to identify as a threat to the existing U.S. table shows victims of 4 categories ceiling. A graph is impossible because terrorist numbers would be smaller than pixel. What jumps out with tiny number that's caused by terrorism compared. Even an estimated 4 for generated counts air crimes, rapid shootings, and Americans more times dangerous are likely to be killed in car crash. Let me get it.
Good. start there. Gressler evidence is about payroll tax increases. Payroll taxes are only fund Medicare Part A.
No,
plans Part B.
it's not just about payroll tax increases.
What's the
it's
link
about
there?
So it's talking about one example of Social Security expansion in the past. It said that when that happened, it triggered mass interest rate hikes, which is the link to the set.
Where does this card say interest rate hikes? The only line I
Okay,
see
it
is
says
explain
Social Security
anything.
expansion acts massive tax hikes would ripple destructively
Okay,
across
so
the
tax hikes. What tax hikes does the plan do that cause like inflation?
What do you mean? The act increases taxes, no?
Right, but sure, it's taking that money out of the economy and then putting it back in. How does it cause inflation if it's the same amount?
Yeah, so this ad is about how you would spend money, boost the economy, which causes the Fed to perceive the plan as inflationary.
Yeah, I understand that, but if we're taking money out of the economy through the taxes, as you've just explained,
Well, the
how
Gressler
does that-
evidence says that it would require massive taxes and an overhaul of the entire
Sure,
economy.
but
That's
this
the
card
link
does
to
not
this
say
ad.
inflation anywhere. I don't understand how this links
Wait,
to this.
the dissent is about the. Okay, fine. Yeah, sure.
Is that about inflation or is it about just general the economy?
Inflation.
Okay,
That's
that's
why-
what I thought. The second Gressler evidence, actually no. Let's go to the single payer cards. How do they link?
No, the Tanner evidence is about how the Medicare system in general is $58 trillion in the red, and how it would cause exorbitant taxes again. It said that this would also crush the economy, and it would destroy the GDP
Okay,
by
sure, but
9.5%.
Medicare being in the red, how does that cause inflation if the plan is financed by tax increases through general?
Well, it's just talking about the program in general destroying the entire economy.
So not the plan, just the program in general, i.e. the SWO.
No. It's
Then
talking
how does
about
the plan
expanding
cause
Medicare
inflation?
in general.
How?
Yeah,
Explain it.
sure. It says that Medicare programs in the past have been very detrimental to the economy, and something such as the plan would have massive taxes, would require massive taxes to be
so
levied
the
to
tax
fund
amount-
the scheme.
Okay.
It literally says exorbitant taxes must be levied to fund the scheme, and proposals would crush the economy.
Okay. Let's go to uniqueness. The Kennery evidence is core inflation fell to its lowest level. That takes out important economic indicators like energy prices, housing prices that are about like broader inflation. How
Okay,
does this
two
prove
things.
inflation?
Number one, when I was cutting this card, I think the bottom part of it also said that core inflation is what economists look at whenever they're trying to predict what it would look like
Okay,
in
what
the
evidence
future.
do you have that core
Okay,
inflation
I
is
did
important?
not read that bottom
Okay.
part of the card, but I'm just saying that that's something like something like I know.
Okay,
But second is that it says that Biden is still looking at inflation right now, and it's still low and stable.
Okay, I want to go to the Babakri highlighting answers. You said that your impact is inflation, not recession inevitable. What is the impact of inflation?
Economic decline.
Okay, so recession, right?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
if we win impact
No,
uniqueness for recession, then it takes out the impact.
No,
of
because
inflation.
the impact uniqueness that we've read in Tune C is all about inflation being low right now.
Right, but if the impact of that is just recession, if we win recession is inevitable, it takes out the impact, right?
No. Correct. Okay, 25 seconds.
How much do you have left? Forgot to write it down.
I think I.
351.
Yeah.
351.
Yeah. So 24
now-
seconds for that is 3:27.
Math is hard. 326
Seven.
or something like that.
27.
Or 27.
Yeah.
It was
Have you done a roadmap? I might have missed it.
Oh, yeah, Ford's counterplan, the McHenry counterplan. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Forts,
yeah,
McHenry,
Forts, McHenry.
Ukraine.
13, Democrats support extending the court of law, including the LA, and the should be able to bring the House legislature to this presentation without the Speaker. And McHenry asks as a pro-term, pushes Ukraine aid, should take Donald Trump well, which should be continued McHenry will legislate with the why don't the property send funding to Ukraine, McHenry should empower McHenry will the Speaker to announce the flexibility of the President or President of France to give McHenry the authority to bring it up. No, the Ukraine does not. Ukraine aid passes now. The plan is key to stopping U.S. trying to ward the terrorist disease. First, it decreases international cooperation, destroys the plan that introduces new injuries, and makes it impossible to solve global disease. It also turns terrorism into also weaponry and regional competition that makes internal terrorists more emboldened. Now, the PC link, I'll extend it. Well, actually, yeah. The 2 weeks one was there's no speaker. First, it doesn't apply to Sangari. Evidence says that he would apply to further aid if he became a speaker. The counterplan solves this because it would apply to McHenry, who does solve. Second, Democrats voting for Republican speaker on the condition of bringing Ukraine aid to the vote. Solve. Remington 12. Democrats uses the word modern Canada condition of postponed aid to majority Republicans. One of Ukraine tell having speaker would know up to the bill not to do so. Four, expanding. A third, expanding McHenry's power creates another avenue for the bill. Herb 10 12. Republicans consider whether which expanded power to interrupt the have to the House passed. Legislature law business with Israel Republicans review letter. This is McHenry's draft every power. By end, it doesn't matter who the speaker is. Then 5. Republicans may opt in conflict because it's the lawyers in order, but the next speaker is in Ukraine because it's about to protect the House's improved. Now they're going to try to read more evidence about Republicans not wanting the bill, but that's wrong. First, it'll pass here, set the stage for a clean vote. Ukraine aid and it has the votes. Worker, just that matter. Good news 7. Birdie and maintain the like so what do you think CR? 7 countries will clean vote. The Ukraine is the general whether be conflict with the white country. I think my comment about Ukraine is to believe you 7 to initial it's supported the vast majority of the White House and state of the tools and another motion about aid is smaller support aid to Ukraine that national operative and should be reminded. For second, it's one and done passage with hardliners on board. 7 Charter 97 10 8. Fighting with of Congress fighting the Ukraine, the Ukraine about it, no one in time. Single military body that understand the security plan. If the movies in the House are likely to pass the newly, all the Democrats and the Republicans have the European supporting majority senators and Israel. Ukraine package means passage is likely, but there's still opposition. Remington 12. Next, I can use the video of the Ukraine, but it's about the work of the distribution within overall departments of Congress. But an official is going to pass on the able to comment on the Israel and Ukraine opposed that you can choose together will help Ukraine aid will approve. Now they say that it will pass. Now they read evidence into the budget is distracting, but it will pass now. First majority of both houses parties supported, but minority backing still brings destruction and support is gradually more parties concocting a strategy of combining Ukraine and Israel and increase the likelihood of both pass. That's a limb evidence. Second, Israel ensures passage now. PC is key. But 10-12. Israel opened up a new method so what do you the White House working with the countries limit and so you some funding Ukraine and Jordan beverages and the countries includes both that's sort of migration to Ukraine on a lot. Second is bipartisan support, public support and resilient minorities. It passes, but it's closed. Now they're 10-30 you're gonna reasonable and do the right thing. Mostly supporting Ukraine over the Congress that forget about all the governments will be hardly original as well. Inflation will have to do it, so I will need to resolve the government to bring strong Ukraine money to avoid total there. All things to do and it'll pass here. Yeah, already read that. Now the Ukraine aid will pass now. Biden's pushing and Congress is going to act. Continue focus is key. Jake 10-15. Congress Biden has Congress to package with the critical with the person and media Congress to act going to address Congress for Ukraine. Intensification of the Congress is because we work with the battle land. See, bipartisan. Now they see that PC doesn't matter, but Biden's PC is actually key to pass is loose. To find Biden is the people want to select the Ukraine battle wanting to make things so long as Americans is required much over the battle. What is supporting you wanted of the Congress if you can tell about the battle with the US will not ultimately serve everything. It's a study with the world about Congress where there was a little bit but the general is going to be strong because we will take the money how like we're going to the Congress and our relative reporters and it's empirically false for Biden to get winners. It's empirically false for Biden. So 921 and the momentum will hurl Biden in the future legislature with the idea that legislature because of the women is asking for too much massive women's people will come the legislature over the farmer. It influence fake from you while defeats are forever Dresner. So no considerably use in the more difficult you can throw the collision out the whole 77 body gets rid of shit like BC part of the farmers of the few heels that don't know some problems and accomplishments guarantee pushback. Massive 40 problems will really help the president hold rights of the public election that generates many effective video that that's accomplished and go public to help you protect gender. This is and the plan solves it. The Republicans will backlash to any type of redistribution. This is answering their Medicare link. Recruitment to Republicans depends on Social Security and Medicare, the wealth they want to see. Spending cut Republicans like taking this out of the Republicans will center the edge of which Americans realize will achieve the goal to back with it. They will tell it to private. Actually, you pull it up. Yeah. Even regular Republicans will have a fit on 560. Republicans want to reduce government spending or report out because they would consider raising taxes. Nobody will show much fair one should they're about increasing taxes because higher. It's another problem with their budget focus. Lower income living. You can concede that they actually do tax from T. That means they actually link to this. Now all Republicans are trying to literally abolish taxes. We're 23 consider spending proposal to do with the tax and the IRS. No proposal to make a Wilson to the tax where they would higher or so pronounced it would the world they are just collecting the Republicans no longer. Making the IRS and the plan causes the GOP red line covered to 21. The Republicans are sending a warning if you raise taxes, we'll just cut them into 2,000 heading for a shutdown over taxes. The Republicans will vote for new taxes. We don't like taxes. And the plan triggers Republicans' paranoia about the IRS. Quarter 21 2. Republicans IRS funding to the ability to come the IRS budget higher tens of thousands of Americans. Okay, mark the card. Americans. All legislation is time consuming. The fee on the plan passes that takes housing time. Patients entertain. The legislature the lawyers and kind of in the cloud is nobody every day to vote on the side. They're legislative on every exactly all this. Time to come over here bunch of deadlines.
And I'll throw the two cards out, the premium card and the on card. I realized it didn't save when I
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Give me 1 sec, because I'm putting it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's up.
Same.
Alright.
When you
We get started.
Okay.
10.
Advantage 1, Advantage 2. That's innovation, terror. Econ dissat. Speaker counterplan. Politics.
MBA.
Okay, sweet. Good to bring you.
It's kind of dark in here.
Yeah.
It's like part of Texas. It's just perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Empirics won't apply to disease. They're about other extinctions of other species, and they don't assume AMR increasing now. Burnout is wrong. The AMR circumvents burnout because it increases incubation times, which means the transmissibility, lethality, the trade-off is not true. Financial bias is wrong. Our evidence is not from drug companies, which means it doesn't matter. Resiliency is overcome by AMR. It means that current medications don't work. Islands, 1, people go to islands to spreading diseases. 2, it checks their impact as well. So you can classify to both. And 3, the job that it collapse in microbiomes in an independent extinction scenario, which circumvents their islands defense. They killing everybody. Terror event. It's not small scale, we can say, but it's also irrelevant. They can see that the financing is increasing the status quo from counterfeiting. That's a key internal link. It's also easier and easier to get nuclear materials with his evidence. Theatrics suppose our way much more theatric than launching a nuclear weapon. Low probability is wrong. It's about current terror deaths in the status quo does not assume nuclear tripwires being launched in a nuclear war. The job 5 scenarios, all involving China, the US, DPRK, and Russia drawing in great powers. This end.
Advantage 1 is the social security bad stuff.
Oh yeah, social security bad stuff. Progressivity is not an impact extended in this debate, and the inflation stuff is going to be extended on the dissent. The dissent is not a unique one. Bonds are steepening. The confluence of all economic factors demands decline. That's 15 times these exact conditions. All of them have led to recession. That's Barnard, Johnson, and C. This is not just the yield curve argument, which they also didn't answer beyond saying that it is sometimes inverted, which is not responsive to shut down geopolitics, Counterfeit 10-11. Recession can happen at the same time. Rates reform downturn. Heavier is 150 10 economy slow down considerably. Get a recession based on expectations. Prompt reserve to keep rates higher. Recession. The control of the negative headlines, setting looming shutdown. Broader geopolitical issues. Confidence crash. The headlines. Elevated price growth. Feel like recession is already here. 3 Fed and future predictions guarantee recession from a host of factors. Collingwood 10-12. Saving rates on credit card debt increasing. So spending increasing wages are not keeping up with inflation. Average consumer spending those on savings tested during stimulus triple by the mortgage over 20-year highs and student loan payments next to performing. Powell stated that not a soft landing. Unlikely the economy gets out significantly with rates as high as they are. Both Fed and future markets indicating high rates and pain. That thumbs the rate hikes in turn lane 4. Gaza spikes oil price inflation. Recession Dow 10-12. Hamas was the potential to threaten the recession. Military withdrawal recession keeping Israel in the direct off of Iran. Oil prices could soar. Russia taking about $1 trillion off the output. The Middle East can send tremors if the world region is a crucial supplier of energy. Increasing repatriation years of stagflation. Industrial economies. Economy looks vulnerable. Still recovery from inflation. The sometimes the verdict stuff is answered above optimism. There's no warrant. It's just about the Fed. Our Fed, not lack of optimism evidence is newer. Indicators is only about inflation. Does not assume bonds, which was extended above. Inflation cooling irrelevant. Only about inflation. Does assume other indicators. Inflation low. Cost supply. Only about inflation going well. Also only about inflation as opposed to pieces of symbolic evidence. Doesn't turn the case. Polarization is not the internal link to stopping disease spread. They haven't read a piece of evidence that says it would cause it. Credibility is not the internal link to diseases. It is terrorist financing. The plan is good for the economy. Job every warrant from the link turn. A, pricing. High prices block net more consumers out of the market, reducing farmer profits. B, other sectors reabsorb any money lost by farmer through discretionary funds. C, research declining. Now on treatment lowers market productivity. Slipment. D, simulations prove AMR. Shreds trillions akin to 08. That's Johnson. E, value pricing saves billions. Young L 22. IRA. Else Medicare negotiating limits that adjust the necessity of the value. NAM recommends using basic drug principle and value estimated by ICER. 73 drugs account for 1/5 of the total U.S. drug spending. Applying with BVPs reduces spending by 373 million, equates to annual savings of 40 billion. Total Medicare D spending was 2020 with 89 billion. Applying VBPs to prescription drugs would yield substantial savings. The link debate is heavily negative. The fiscal policy stuff is about expansionary fiscal policy generally. It's not about buying drugs. They drop that's thumped. Expansion. The aggressor evidence is about high taxes. They can see to the Connie evidence, which says it is not high taxes. You cross by that to the Tanner evidence. The taxes also only affect Part A because those are payroll packages. The plan does not, the plan does not affect the Levin evidence is relevant. We're going for the inflation is inevitable. Middle class perception exception. There's no impact to that. The U.S. is not key. Confusion evidence is only about rate hikes in those countries, and it doesn't. The Hyatt evidence doesn't say that other countries follow on a collapse. Neither does the other piece of Hyatt evidence. Resources, settlement evidence about material shortages. Do not assume every recession inevitable or financialization is defensive and doesn't overcome other stuff. The recession inevitable short circuits the inflation debate because the terminal is rate hikes, which is recession. Capital. McHenry counterplan calls Pfizer's ex bashes. Capital 10-12. Extended powers. McHenry's unprecedented require changing councils and Democratic support of McHenry do more efforts to give his position more power. Bacon through cold water on the idea by questioning whether it's constitutional to empower McHenry. A doesn't pass to AC. Senator says that Jordan has momentum as a Republican nominee and will kill any future. A1 and R1 counterplan against all Republicans lining up behind Jordan. They will backlash to the counterplan and 2 Ukraine. A1 and R2 no consent speaker. Call 10-12 Republicans working to the speaker asked for the Republicans support the plans autos. Said no, the many lawmakers did not allow that one. In the R3 is just the counterplan. 1 and R4 is wrong. Senator said that Jordan's caucus would kill Ukraine. 8 A can't pass O'Brien. 10-11 majority lawmakers oppose military arm Ukraine. They have no strategy. Republicans push back on funding impossible for the House to move package Senate out of recession. Lingering GOP frustrations. And Ukraine aid the vocal card is old and aspirational. One and done doesn't assume recent speakership developments. Bergen's wrongly fails in code. 10 growth 10-11. Republican lawmakers funding big requests. Combined aid for Israel and Ukraine resistance from. Mark that card resistance from. That also answers the Prince card. Tail card is aspirational, not descriptive of real Congress resistance. J card says absolutely nothing. PC fails unless Biden's popular. 2C MS evidence says that Biden's current approval rating is too low for his legislative ambitions. The plan is a major win, allowing him to win back constituents. That makes lawmakers more willing to align themselves with Biden. None of their evidence applies and not a winner's win argument. Luce is about Biden pressuring people on the bill. Sovereign is about momentum of support in Congress, not popular support. Same with Dressner. Maskins about Obama does not apply because half the country didn't like the ACA, so it doesn't access the popularity internal link. They conceded popularity.
Okay, we have, I wrote it down. I think 326. Is that right? Okay. Starting. Yeah, just. condescend advantage.
Oh, like an echo.
Condescend advantage 1, advantage 2.
Sorry, say
And
that again.
condescend advantage 1, advantage 2.
I know. It's like a broken record.
Then the counter plan, then sorry.
Econ.
And then last you said was like the uniqueness power plan of Paul's team.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Econ advantage 1, advantage 2.
Just listen to all the things the debaters say. It's not like offsets.
Yeah,
Econ advantage 1, advantage 2. McHenry, Ukraine.
Thank you, Dana.
Move on.
I'm gonna show you my clothes after the debate. Dana. They're pretty good. Some things never change. Even when you graduate.
Here's what it is.
Get my phone here.
This has been an issue since I was a student. The poor flowing? No,
No, not the poor
flowing. You're not that way, but I know you're great.
I'm good.
Hey. Everyone too. Economic decline outweighs planned-induced sector collapse cascades into a black box that causes geopolitical realignments in Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and it causes political tensions that escalate and cause wars. Asia, it causes wars. India, Pakistan, U.S., China, Russia, NATO, all drop warrants, which means that it outweighs in any risk that we win a link means we win the debate because side did not actually answer the real turns case warrants that we made into 2 and T. First, the turns case. First, is disease side only answer the polarization part, but drop the economic decline would make disease stoppage and prevention impossible, which means that you can know that it is not that it turns disease. Second is terrorism. They drop that short-term to line terminates all protection and creates a more vulnerable U.S. That means Raleigh cannot stand up and rant about disease or terrorism and say that it outweighs any risk of dissad because they've terminally conceded that this dissad impact would also access any part of that. That also means that any risk that we win a link, especially because uniqueness is a headshot debate and we're completely destroying them on it, means we win the debate. Now, I'm going to start off with uniqueness. Right? Actually, they've also spotted as the fact that rate hikes would collapse every facet of the economy, which means that it happens faster than any link turn. It also accesses their link turns, which means that any risk that we win a link, again, means we win the debate because we are winning the full scope of the link turn because taxes outweigh, because they contribute the most to destroying the economy in the first place. Now, uniqueness is over. The only thing Sai said to respond to every warrant was, quote, it doesn't assume other indicators. This is an inflation dissad. That's irrelevant because we are winning that inflation is the biggest factor. That means the Fed would raise rate hikes. Now, Sen Rugenberg from 3 days ago and says that measures of inflation decline and core prices have had the smallest increase in 2 years and says core prices, quote, provide a good signal on inflation's path, end quote. That answers Raleigh question in cross-ex. That means we have exited the higher inflation regime, but we're still elevated. Now, extent Smiley, price trends are down and inflation is at a pace that is less than 2022. The Fed is still debating about whether one more final rate hike is needed, which means that it could go either way, which means that any risk the plane collapses it. Again, we win the debate. Now, extent Canary core inflation fell to its lowest level and they've dropped that overall inflation is dropped 60%, which means that we're completely outcarding them. Now, I'm going to answer their cards here. The yield curve stuff, it's wrong. It's descriptive of future recessions. It doesn't speak to inflation now. The Connish evidence is wrong. It says that recession is going to happen at some point, which is not recession now. It's also a poll, which doesn't cite experts, which we do. Now, the Collingwood evidence, it's about future evidence. It's relevant because it's about now. Just because recessions are inevitable in the future, the Gaza stuff, it's about the potential of recessions. Oil prices clearly have not soared yet. It says that inflation is still recovering. Now, the Fourier card debt is also irrelevant. Volatility and recessions are all future warrants that not that inflation is stable now, which was answered above. Now, go to the link debate. I'll do it here. They've conceded that it's only about perception of the link, which means that if the Fed perceives the plan as inflationary, it means we win the debate. Their link turns are based on long-term stabilization methods of solving for the economy, which means we still win because we short-circuit their ability to do that. First, I'm going to extend the Gressler evidence. Social Security expansion in general and broadly would cause immense tax hikes that would ripple destructively across the entire economy due to mass inflation. They say it's about expansion generally. We agree. That's why we read this link. That's why it links to your app. Now, current inflation is predictable. Conceded the plan would be an unexpected shock that would trigger financial meltdown. It's evidence unpredictable. Chaotic keeps consumer off balance. Also extend the Medicare stuff here as well. Tanner said that the expansion of Medicare broadly requires exorbitant taxes. This is a quote that must almost always be levied to fund their single payer scheme. They say it's not about high taxes. taxes, that's irrelevant because they spotted as the fact that it would require a lot of taxes in the first place, which would cause inflation. Our link happens faster than our link turn, which I did above. Now, uniqueness should also control the direction of the link. The judge is certain that inflation is low now, and macroeconomic inflation is looking good, and macroeconomic indicators are looking good, and the economy is looking healthy, which means that only there's a risk that the plan can reject that trajectory, and all it does is continue status quo economic conditions. But the chance that they are wrong throws a wrench in the economy. There's no benefit to voting out because current trajectory is good. We've also explicitly conceded their cards in the 2EC. Their card isn't about inflation, but it proves the link. They said that they would lower drug prices leading to productive workforce, and it would be positive on a net basis. That proves the link because it means they overstimulate the economy, which means the Fed perceives it as inflationary, increases rate hikes. Next, that also answers all of their warrants. Now, Sai just went through a whole bunch and breezed through some 5 points. It's all relevant because I know you didn't catch it. I didn't catch it either, but it's all relevant because I did the link debate above. Next, they say value pricing also wrong because it's obviously wrong, and because the Fed is only about perception. Value pricing is not matter because if the Fed perceives the plan as inflation, it means we win the debate. Now I've also answered all their line by line on here. Now, the U.S. is definitely key. They've conceded every reason why rate hikes from the U.S. independently would destroy the entire economy. First, it creates global confusion. It causes it causes countries to want to manipulate the value of the dollar, and it causes countries to come in and decide what they want to protect, and it destroys it causes global confusion, and it triggers rate hikes everywhere, which collapses the economy. Next is empirics. They reveal rate hikes, they reveal cracks in the economy. It says when the Fed starts making hikes, it keeps going until something breaks, and it's empirics like 2008 prove. Next, it causes debt crises and fuels inflation, which is another link to the disad, which proves that, go to the McKinney camp. Concede the permits from vote from 2ECs to test competition route going forward. Concede Caldwell says it's unconstitutional, means the counterflow doesn't happen. Hold the line on the Caldwell evidence because this is new in the 1 ER. Next, go to the Ukraine. Is that no counterplay means no speaker. No speaker means nothing can pass. Their card states impossible to push back. On passage now, the popularity is very irrelevant because they dropped the tax link from the 1 ER. They've dropped Turn's case, the explicit warrants in it, and economic decline has to outweigh.
Okay, 353. Advantage 1 econ.
Conceded risk of AMR killing all humans outweighs a very low risk of this time. We have a ton of defense all those scenarios. We're killing them on the unique space. There's not answering case. The turn was a huge mistake when they're going for the status quo because of those autonomous risk. The AMR will kill the entire planet, which means that it's tried out for the affirmative to stimulate innovation, the economy, and the pharma sector to solve for R&D that will solve for AVR that solves extinction because the AMR will mutate out of resistance measures will kill all humans because it is the worst form of diseases because existing drugs will make those AMRs mutate so that will kill everyone. That is a conceded risk that outweighs the dissent. There's no terms case to this side, now the dissent. At the opposite end, the terms case that was not explained at all in the term. There's zero reason why economic decline will prevent prevention of diseases when they have a truly weight definitely outweighs evidence that innovation within the pharma sector is a key internally to solving RT, but that can only be solving ABR, but it can only be solved by the plan targeted insurance policy. That's the one is Conti evidence, which means there's zero terms case. The time frame stuff is all irrelevant because you're not cause inflation, which just begs the question. The link to me, but but conceded case means that AMR cause comes right now because the one is these matter evidence is the AMR is rapidly increasing that. It'll kill us all soon, which means that always any risk of the dissent for the time frame stuff. Now the uniqueness debate, we are winning this debate. Reading almost no cards saying recession not likely, and just reading cards about inflation means is GG for the affirmative. Few warrants oxen. The first is bond bear steepening the choosy barn evidence as a confluence of indicators, including rates point to recession. It says that of all 15 times where the economists look like this that has led to recession, that means recession is inevitable. It does not matter whether or not it's carded about inflation and rate high specifically because their impact is literally recession. Is not about just an inflation about it's about recession broadly. The choosy dropped all the warrants in this card except for yield curve, but it did not even answer that in the 200 or in the 2 they see the second thing I'll go for. The answer, the only 200 answer that is about future recession. Yes, of course, that's what a unique disclaim is. It is that future recessions are likely, and now that we're obviously in a recession now, the second warrant I'll go for is that shutdown and geopolitics and individual uncertainty. The economic evidence of the winner said that rate hikes will happen now because the Federal Reserve is uncertain about what will happen post Israel's invasion of Gaza. The economic evidence is predictive, it's not descriptive, which is what all their evidence is about. All their evidence just says the rate hikes are not happening now. That the rate hikes won't happen in the future. The only sort of answer that is from a poll. It's from a poll of economists. The truth that is best, and it's the best union card. This way, the third one I go for is the Gaza war. The Dow evidence of the one area says that the conflict will spike oil prices, which will cause inflation globally, which is a huge all-cause inflation that will ripple throughout the globe and cause the Federal Reserve to increase interest rates. The Chornar's only answers on uniqueness is that there are the evidence just about this side is about rate hikes. Their evidence only says that the Federal Reserve is debating whether or not to raise rate hikes. Not that they won't raise rate hikes. Evidence actually predictive and says they will raise rate hikes because of number of factors. It means uniqueness is a kill for the affirmative. The two the other argument about how the inflation is down 60% from last year. Obviously, it's down from last year because last year's inflation was through the roof, but evidence still says that inflation is high now, and that a number of factors will contribute to inflation in the future, which will cause a rate hike, which means all the Chornar's warranty on uniqueness is null, which means that if recession is inevitable, then it takes out all the impact uniqueness. It means you can vote out on solving AMR because the plan does not trigger recession. We're already in one now. The links are horrible. If not read a link to the app in this video, the first link that Chornar sends about perception is not our perception. If the plan is not a link because they have to win a link for there to be a perception link. The plan is not inflation. They don't write evidence saying the plan will be inflationary. They'll the two easy cards about social security, about tax increase, which obviously none of those cards say it would cause inflation because when you take money out of the economy, you put it back in, that does not cause inflation because it's not increasing the amount of money in the economy that was in the 1 hour drop. And the Chornar, which means the only other Chornar link they extended is the 11 stuff, which is the plan is an unexpected inflation. There's no warrant for why the plan uniquely causes that inflation. The Medicare stuff is about single payer, but they drop that we don't raise they drop the only warrant that is taxable. They drop that we don't raise payroll taxes. The only warrant their evidence the plan takes money out of the economy through general revenue, puts it back in, which means there's zero risk of link. The Chornar not have a coherent link, so which means there's very little risk of it. You know there's how much risk of the case. You can just vote out there now. I'll go to the link turns out the Chornar pretty much dropped that the AMR will collapse the economy. The winner extended their 1 2 see evidence says that AMR will cause the next 08 recession, which means that it's impacting uniqueness for us because only the plan can solve for AMR recession better, which only the plan can solve for AMR because it simulates innovation.